So I get asked a lot about the importance of the internet and the importance of information in today's education, in today's matter of talking about education. When we refer to education, we often kind of associate it with school. And while education is important, it certainly holds no relevance to school, universities, high schools, or anything else. Education, it partially comes from teachers, but education comes from everyday experiences. It can also come from our ability to just interact with people every day, and it also comes from our ability to be exposed to information. One of these information channels which has changed the way Gen Y functions as it relates to Generation X is that the flow of information is much more dominant in our generation than it was in past. What that means though is that the learning curve is just faster for certain things. People learn to code faster, people learn to function faster, they learn leadership practices faster, and more importantly, they learn what matters much more efficiently and quicker than they did previously. The reason they do that is because they're exposed to other individuals who share more of their experiences rather than classroom teachings. In the old days, you had to go to school and your teacher would educate you based on a book that was written by one person and then shared across 300 people in 10 different schools. Today, that same platform of leadership is shared throughout podcasts, business articles, internet articles that are from larger publications, online magazines, and just about everyone out there that's talking about leadership has a perspective. Being exposed to 300 to 400 different perspectives on leadership definitely helps you understand different core components faster and much more efficiently. So really, education as it pertains to information is key here, not just education as it pertains to school. With YouTube and other channels, there's a free flow of information out there. And what's important to note is that information isn't always correct information, but it's not incorrect either. Information comes across when shared by people from perspective. And perspectives are different. So to understand everyone's perspective is definitely valuable, and there's no in-value, even if we don't agree with someone's perspective. It is very important though to note that for someone to truly move past their learning curve and be able to take on the next stage of their life, they have to be exposed to different perspectives. So I find channels like YouTube, I find channels like blogs to be a great way to consume someone's perspective, regardless of their success levels or money or not, because it's perspective. It doesn't matter if they're accurate or not. That's why it doesn't really matter if a guru is making money off of is selling product and his product is good. As long as you understand their perspective, then you're now one step further. You don't have to agree with it, you don't have to further your education on the perspective if you don't feel aligned with it or it doesn't resonate with you, but at least you understand it. So you understand where certain people are coming from and why certain people think the way they do. The more you understand that, the more for yourself you can form kind of an educated perspective on what true leadership is to you. But when you hear others' point of views, you're not confused as to why they feel that way. You're able to kind of persuade them or influence them to change their thinking based on the fact that you understand where they got their learning from. So, when it comes to education and how important the role of the internet is today, I think the biggest factor here is that people are exposed or have the opportunity to be exposed to quite a lot of information. And so what I would say is that people shouldn't be exposed to everything because then it slows down their learning curve, but rather should selectively pick the topics in which they wish to be exposed to and then really find just about every perspective, on those particular topics rather than just any topics about anything. I also think it's important to not get sidetracked by the fact that the first resource you reach when searching for a topic probably won't be the most accurate one. So, I would say that from an educational standpoint, it wouldn't be wise to limit yourself to just one source of information when it comes to learning from components like YouTube or blogs or even other venues of teaching. People ask me a lot, they're like, should people just follow Secret Entourage? I'm like, hell no, just follow everything you want. Follow other websites like Fast Lane to the Millions. There's definitely great value in that forum and that community. Follow Secret Entourage, follow Elite Daily. There's a lot of good sites out there that provide good information. All of them provide different information, even though they might share similar topics. But that different perspective is what you really need. So I encourage people to go out there and find for themselves a lot of information and then take all that information and turn it into action.